Welcome back. Wow, what an exciting time for full self-driving, with version 13 released just a few weeks ago. And just a few days ago, Savage Junkie's version 13 drives in Manhattan are getting amazing results.
I've had no interventions, no disengagements. I would say the car is performing pretty damn good.
So with Elon saying that Hardware 3 owners will be upgraded to Hardware 4 if needed to achieve unsupervised full self-driving, the big question now for New York City drivers is version 12 clearly worse than version 13 in real-world scenarios? Coming up, I compare version 12 and 13 head-to-head in 7 unique situations. Keep watching to see how version 12 measures up.
And it's gonna back up. Ooh, it is.
Version 13 starts from a parallel parked position, backs up to create more space, and then smoothly enters the traffic lane.
Going in reverse, the car already threw itself in forward. Wow.
I start version 12 from a parallel parked position with enough space in front of it so as to not have to back up to get out, so an easier scenario than version 13 faced. It appears to wait for the white SUV to pass and then shows intent but doesn't move, so I have to disengage to force it out into the traffic lane. Version 13 wins this scenario. Now version 13 has the green, but is competing with jaywalking cyclists. Instead of stopping, version 13 creeps forward and wins this battle of wills. Version 12 also has the green and is competing with jaywalking pedestrians. It also creeps forward without intervention and clears the intersection eventually. It's really hard for any driver to know how much they can push through cyclists and pedestrians, so I'm going to call this one a tie. Case in point on how difficult these decisions are, version 13 in this instance decides to stop for the pedestrian on the left. I honestly could not tell if he was trying to let us go or not, but FSD decides to wait it out. Now look at how version 12 decides to handle the 2 pedestrians on the right. FSD cautiously creeps forward but then stops. I'm just about to push the accelerator at this point as traffic is starting to move forward, but I'm not really sure how FSD figured out that the couple was about to jaywalk. I'm going to call this a tie again simply because I can't decide what's right. Moving on to scenario 4. Version 13 is waiting to make a left turn while faced with 4 different traffic signals: the bike light, the left turn light, straight light, and cross traffic light. FSD correctly waits for its green, pauses to yield to a cyclist hurtling in from the other side, and then completes the left turn.
The previous versions just definitely messed this up every single time.
While I'll agree that version 12 does mess up complex left turns, it doesn't mess up every single time. For comparison, is version 12 making a left turn onto 60th Street from Columbus Circle, one of the most complex left turns that have often required intervention. As traffic creeps forward, version 12 is doing the infamous steering wheel wiggle as it decides which lane to commit to. The left lane is a correct decision because of the immediate left turn, but as traffic clears on the right, FSD makes it go right and I have to disengage to keep it in the left lane. As the straight light turns green, version 12 moves into the median in a poor position. It should have positioned itself to the left more to allow another left turning car to stack up to my right. There's almost never a break in traffic to make an unprotected left turn, so FSD has to wait for the left turn signal to turn green. When finally given the opportunity, FSD cautiously trails behind the 2 cyclists and clears the intersection, but because I had to disengage earlier and median positioning was not great, this scenario goes to version 13 with the benefit of the doubt that version 13 would do better here. Scenario 5 has to do with correct usage of bus lanes. Version 13 moved into the bus lane correctly because it needs to make an immediate right turn. Nothing much more to remark on here, but this does set us up nicely for when FSD should not be using the bus lane. This version of FSD doesn't consistently recognize bus lanes or makeshift lanes. As FSD moves around 2 cars blocking our lane, it decides to change into the right makeshift bus lane. I have to disengage to move it back to the left side as we need to turn left. So this is an easy win for version 13. For scenario 6, version 13 stops too far behind the car in front. There is really no obvious reason, but watch what happens.
Right as I say that, it's doing this weird thing, or it's deciding to camp behind this cab. Oh, look at that. It's giving these people space to back into the spot. This is insane. I thought I was doing the wrong thing, but it's just letting this guy, oh boy, he's a terrible parallel parker, this guy. Okay, moved up a little bit.
Version 13 was pretty awesome, but version 12 does quite well too. It creeps forward and doesn't give the black SUV nearly as much space to parallel park as version 13 did, but it's more than enough. Version 12's problem, however, lies in moving around the parking car. Look at the screen, both the side camera and the visualization. Any taxi driver at this point would have stuck its nose into the middle lane, catch the moment that a car lets up, and shoot into the gap. However, just on grounds of yielding to parking cars, this is a tie between version 12 and 13.
I've had no interventions, no disengagements. I would say the car is performing pretty damn good, if you had to ask me. This is a very difficult driving environment in a very, very weird area.
Version 13 was flawless in 25 minutes of driving across Midtown Manhattan. Reviewing 6 of my most recent 12.5.4.2 videos, only one 31-minute drive was flawless. The other 5 drives had at least one intervention or disengagement, despite all of these being shorter than 25 minutes. This is great news for Hardware 4 Tesla owners, but not so good news for Hardware 3 owners. But it does seem like version 12.6 is coming for Hardware 3 owners by the end of the year, combining some of the version 13 features. So stay tuned and please subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. Thank you and see you next time.